Hello everyone, and welcome to the Yelp Inline Bot walkthrough. In this walkthrough, we'll go through the entire process of turning an Echo bot into a Yelp Inline bot. Let's begin. First, we will deploy our bot to demonstrate that it works. If we type hello, it will echo back hello. Sweet. Let's begin the transformation. We first need a router. A router determines which branch of our flow the app will execute. Next, we need an NLU node that will be able to process our input into meaningful information. Luckily, we're assuming a very simple input, business near address. So we can simply write a simple function to process it. Here's what the function would look like. In the first part of our function, we transform our input into a manipulable variable called query. If there is no query, the bot will output nothing. Next, we take our query and split it by near, creating an array with business and address information. Again, we're assuming our input is in a simple business near address format. In addition, we need to store our information in meaningful variables. Thus, we create the NLU dictionary and store business and address information in NLU business and NLU address, respectively. Great! So let's test our app. By adding a debug node into the simple NLU node, we can see if our node actually splits our sentence. Since our bot is technically still an echo bot, it will echo our message. However, when we go back to ChatFlow, we will see that it actually divided our text. So this is looking great. Let's add inline to our bot. Simply send set inline to botfather. Select your bot, input a placeholder message, and your bot's inline will be activated. Next, let's add a branch to our bot. We're going to need an inner node, a function node, the Yelp API node, and a state node. First, we will set the conditions that trigger the branch by editing the inner node. We'll activate this branch whenever input contains both business and address information. NLU business and NLU address are both not null. Next, we need to configure our Yelp API node. Add the consumer key, consumer secret, token, and token secret. Next, we need to set up the function node that will take our current data and format it into an output that the Yelp node can understand. Specifically, we are interested in the Yelp location and Yelp term fields. If you'd like more information about the input requirements and the outputs of the Yelp node, check out the Info tab. Our function node must convert NLU business and NLU address into Yelp term and Yelp location respectively. Our function first will create new variables called kit.business and kit.address to store NLU business and NLU address. This allows for the NLU business and address informations to exist in the output. Next, we want to create the Yelp variable that will store kit business and kit address as Yelp term and Yelp location. From there, we want our newly formatted output to be passed to the Yelp node. Finally, we want our Yelp data to be formatted in an output that can appear inline. This state node will be configured to take the business Yelp output data and transform it into a GUI which the Telegram user can interact with. I'll show you what I mean. First, let's redeploy this app. And you see, now we have a simple inline Yelp bot. Now, what if someone tries to message our bot directly? That would be a disaster. Our bot can't handle direct messages, and it's not supposed to. To prevent the bot from processing messages that aren't inline, we're gonna direct our input in accordance to Telegram type. The variable Telegram type stores information regarding how the bot was called. For example, if the bot is called inline, Telegram type is inline query. How are we going to direct this input in the flow? We'll use a switch node. The switch node will allow us to direct where the input goes depending on certain criteria. For this example, we only have two cases. Telegram type is inline query and Telegram type is not inline query. Once we have configured our switch node, it will have two outputs. The top one represents the first case, Telegram type is inline query, while the bottom one represents the second case, Telegram type is not inline query. We will connect the top one to the simple NLU and the second one directly to the router. Now, we will create an interstate node flow that processes the input from the bottom node. The entry node we want to be activated when Telegram is not inline query. From there, we want our bot to state, sorry, only inline queries accepted. Alright, let's deploy this bad boy again, and when we try to message our bot directly, we receive our, sorry, only inline queries accepted message. Great. Next, let's turn on geolocation for our inline bot. First, we must speak with botfather again. Send the command setinlinegeo, select the bot you wish to activate, and finally, click Enabled. Alright, we must now configure our bot to take inline geolocation. First, we need to enter our simple NLU processor. With this updated code, we can now take our query information and split it. But we have new added steps. With geolocation, the user doesn't need to enter the address, and our bot can use the geolocation information as the address. To deal with these new cases, we established a new variable called splitlen, which counts how many items are in our array split. If it is 1, we store it as NLU business. If there are 2, we store the first item as NLU business and the second as NLU address, like we did before. Finally, we add a try statement that gets the latitude and longitude information and stores it as LL, latitude and longitude separated by a comma. You will see later why we stored the geolocation information in this way. Next, we need to create a new inner node that processes our new business and geolocation case. In this node, we want all the cases that contain business and geolocation to be captured. This will be represented by the conditions NLU business is not null and NLU LL is not null. In a similar process to the previous branch, we create kit nodes for our two variables and store them in their respective Yelp counterparts. As you can see, the Yelp LL assumes that geolocation is inputted in the latitude, longitude format. Then, we simply connect it to the Yelp node where it searches Yelp, gets a list of appropriate businesses, and sends it back to Telegram for the user to choose. Let's deploy and watch our bot work. Exciting! We're going to have to make logical decisions. Do our users want us to look up businesses according to address, or look up businesses according to their geolocation? To address this ambiguity, we will first create an inner node to capture this case. We're going to assume that our users, when specifying address and geolocation, want to find a business near the address they've inputted. So, we'll simply connect our inner node to the business address prepare function. This will effectively ignore geolocation and provide the business information the user is looking for. Let's deploy and try this baby out. It looks like it's working great. Finally, what happens if the user does not provide any geolocation or address data? We should prompt our user to enter that data. So we're going to create another inner node that captures this case. Set the inner node's conditions as NLU address is null, NLU LL is null, and NLU business is not null. Next, we want to output an inline message. This is a little bit trickier when compared to our only accepting inline queries message, but it's not too difficult. We will format our output similar to the Yelp GUI, except we will only have one output with our message indicating that an address is needed. Let's deploy and test this bad boy out. Oh, and when we don't provide geolocation and address, our message pops up. I hope you find this walkthrough helpful. If you wish to play with this app, simply download the JSON file from the tutorial page and import it using the Import JSON feature. Or, you can simply create a new app from the Yelp Inline Bot sample project. Thanks for watching!